Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video today, I will be pleased to share with you that I have had a British passport and it doesn't feel real holding it, but let's go straight back to the facts and share with you guys how much I actually had to pay to obtain this passport. If you are thinking of becoming a British citizen, you know how much roughly you had to prepare in order to sustain this journey of becoming British citizen through long residency. I submit 7 applications to Home Office for the last 12 years of me living in the UK, and luckily for me, all the past 7 applications that I've done so far, none of them was refused by the Home Office, so I get the decision within my first attempt. So let's go back to my journey. Let's recap on how much I have to pay. Let's see if this investment is worth it or not. The first visa that I have applied to enter the UK, which called Leave to Enter under Tier 4 General Student, and that's cost me £363 plus £19.20 for the biometric application, which comes to the total cost of £382.20. Leave to enter the UK values me for 6 months because it depends on the duration, the course that I applied to at that point. When I first came to the UK, I wanted to study A-level here, but my level of English wasn't sufficient enough for me to just join straight into study A-level. So I did 6 months English course to improve my IELTS. The second visa application that I have done to extend my staying in the UK for 2 years, which cover the duration of the A-level. The visa cost is £490, but this time I have to pay for the immigration health surcharge, which roughly is about £470 per year. And as a 2 years total, you just have it by 2, and the total costs come in to £1,430. Don't forget I had to pay for the biometric application, which cost £19.20 because it was my first ever visa application in the UK, and there was an option to get the decision within the same week, so I was willing to pay £500 extra so that I can just receive the decision faster than it would have been done if I've gone through the standard service. After finishing my A-level and had the grade that I need to study my pharmacy degree, I had to renew my visa application again, which led me to submit my 3rd application to the Home Office to extend my visa. Again, I was in the same category as Tier 4 General Student, so I just need to extend my visa. And with my pharmacy degree, it was 5 years. Luckily, I was granted a much longer visa this time. So I guess if you are thinking of pursuing the path of becoming British citizen as the long resident, the longer the course that you are applying to, the better it will be, because it will cut down the amount of time that you have to extend your visa. Again, the visa application cost was £490, and again I had to pay for immigration health surcharge of £470 per year. Then as a 5 year, the total cost has come to £2,350. And at this time, because it took me a long time until I can gather enough information to submit to the Home Office, my visa application was running out. So I had to pay for the priority service, which lets me obtain my decision within the same day, and it's also come with a hefty cost of £800. And at that point I was thinking 5 years visa, it probably will be cheaper than me having to extend my visa again later on, so I was happy to pay for that extra cost. This visa application had cost me £3,640 altogether. Very salty. Pharmacy degree, tick. Pre-reg application, tick. I had to apply for my first ever job in the UK, and I could just remember that point was super stressful because you have to make sure that you find a job and your sponsor had to be on the list of approved sponsor by the Home Office, and I was lucky enough to apply for a job that working for the NHS. One thing to bear in mind that the cost associated with Tier 2 visa, if you are applying for a job that in the Scottish occupation listed by Home Office, then I guess the cost is much less because there's more demand to fill that job in the market. But for me, because pharmacy wasn't a shortage occupation at that point, I just had to pay standard fee. My first ever job of working for the NHS as a Band 6 pharmacist, after receiving the letter from my employer and showing them enough information about me, I submitted my first ever Tier 2 visa application, which cost me £719. For me, luckily again, as I am a pharmacist, I didn't have to pay for immigration health surcharge, but I did actually pay extra to get my decision within the same week, which cost me £500 extra, and the biometric appointment application as well. So after working for the NHS for 2.5 years, we wanted to move in together, Tristan and I, so I had to change my job. As the consequence, I had to submit another Tier 2 visa application, which was the same £719, no immigration health surcharge, and this time, even if I wanted to, I could not apply for the extra service, the premium service, because it was during COVID time. I had to wait a long time for Home Office to granted my cost letter certificate of sponsorship before I could submit my visa application. It was a dark time, because at that point my previous employer have ended my employees and I cannot work at my new place without having a valid visa. So I had to wait a long time. I wasn't sure whether will I be staying in the UK illegally, because my visa will not come back to me soon enough. And that's why sometimes I rather pay extra to get the decision much shorter, just to know about it, whether it's the instant gratification that we have, or it's so nice to not be having to be living in fear of, oh my god, my visa will running out and I'm gonna get deported, what I'm going to do with my life. With all that silly thoughts coming to mind, so part of me thinking, why did I make that silly move? I should have just stayed in my same job and don't think about moving to another place. Very stressful time. And I think as looking back now, every single visa application, my life and my future was largely dependent on the outcome of the visa application. So if you are going through the same journey and you are so stressed about it, I feel you. I know, because I've been there. I can guarantee that when we're going to that dark time, it seems super stressful, but if you zoom out of it, if you're looking at the longer picture, the longer goal that you are working toward, and the freedom becoming a British citizen, how much it will give you a much better comfort to just carry on pursuing this long marathon. So you have to just pace yourself throughout that. Finally here, I have managed to stay legally in the UK for 10 years, and I was eligible to apply for the indefinite leave to remain in the UK, and that application cost me £2,404. I also had to undertake a life in the UK test, which show Home Office that I understand the history and the culture of the UK, and I passed that exam within 1 week. If you want to know more about some tips of passing that test, then let me know in the comment below. I'll be sharing with you my journey of how I have revised for the test to pass it after my first attempt. Normally you would have to show the Home Office the English requirement, which is B1 level, but luckily for me, because I had my UK degree, so I didn't have to prepare for that test, so I didn't have to worry about the cost associated with that. We are nearly there. So the final step of becoming a British citizen is naturalization. You can submit the application after holding your indefinite leave to remain in the UK for a minimum of 12 months. The fee for the naturalization application was £1,303. I submitted that application in December and I had my result in February. So even though the Home Office stated that the application could take up to 6 months, people that I know, myself included, had the decision in place much sooner. And again, it depends on the complexity of the application. I have lived in the UK long enough. I had my house, my partner, and my job in the UK, so maybe it was more straightforward, and I did most of the application by myself. I did not need to hire a solicitor to support me with the application. So all of the costs that I've listed so far were just the pure application fee that I had to pay for to sustain the life in the UK. And finally, the cheapest application to obtain the British passport was for the passport application, and I literally applied on the same day. I could not wait. I needed to have that freedom. I wanted to explore Europe without worrying about having to apply for Schengen visa. And plus, after obtaining your naturalization certificate, you have to send back your biometric resident card within 5 days. So if I want to go abroad, I cannot enter the UK. As you can imagine, the cost of obtaining the British citizen has cost me thousands and thousands of pounds. But let's face the specific number of how much I actually had to pay for almost 12 years of living in the UK. And here is the number if you are pursuing the journey of becoming a British citizen. Let me know in the comment below if you think that or the cost that I pay for is worth it enough. I want to hear your opinion about it. For me, it's definitely worth it. It's an investment for me and my family in the future if we want to make the UK our main home. I guess we all want to have that flexibility in our life because we don't know what will happen in the future. Some of the more options we have, the better it will be. Thank you very much for listening to my story. I hope it gives you a good insight into what it takes to become a British citizen. If you are new to my channel and if you find this video useful, why not hit the subscribe button below to help me grow my channel and share the journey with many more people. Share the journey with me of learning more and become more and live our best life possible. Thank you, and I look forward to see you again in the next video. Take care and goodbye.